I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
Oh, okay.
I've archived the Brinoceros.
Excellent.
Ready?
Ready?
Do you guys want to do the
Ready.
Halo thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, by the way, your mic is getting all fuzzy.
Oh, is it fuzzy again? Is it
Hot mic.
Fuzzy. Was
Hot
it
mic.
Is it still doing it?
No, I think you're
No.
okay.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
No.
All right. Are we doing the Halo theme song?
Yeah.
And the point is to be off sync, right?
Yeah.
No, Teddy. You have to be in sync, or else this isn't gonna work.
Bye 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 bye. Yeah.
I don't want to be a
Backstreet
Backstreet Boy.
I don't want to
Just
be
want to be
Master
Usher
Chief.
too.
It might sound crazy, but I'm taking down the
Halo
covenant.
5.
Might be a little crazy.
555.
Five, five. The one that no one likes.
For the SJ dubs and the like.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
That was beautiful. Welcome to Halo month. What a way to open.
There you go. This is Alex's month.
Yes, I chose Halo month for this month. Oh shit! Do we have the wheel ready, Spencer? We have to spin your wheel.
We
so
do
you
not
can
have
see
to
it.
spin the wheel because I already. I'm the only person.
Come on, it's tradition. You gotta spin the wheel. Okay.
It's a tradition that
Well,
started
I'll pull it up
a
on my
month ago.
phone, okay? If it's possible,
Okay.
we'll do it.
Okay, Teddy's gonna pull it up on his phone. Welcome to Halo month. That's right, it's a month all about Halo. I chose this for this month, so today is going to be a Halo themed game talk, and we have some other episodes. I won't tell you what those are, but at the end of the month, we are going to play Halo Combat Evolved for the map out. So if you're a Halo fan, let us know. Let us know in the comments below who's your favorite Spartan and why is it Master Chief. And then Teddy, can you bring up the wheel?
Oh my god.
Yes. Okay, so the way we've been doing this year is that we get to trade off the months. Teddy chose last month, Treasure Month, because he won the wheel. I won the wheel last time, so I chose Halo. Spencer is the only one left. Let's see if he wins the wheel.
Okay, boys.
I don't know
Ready?
what sound effect it has, so we're going to do this. We're doing a live spinning.
And while he's doing this, while I'm recording, I am getting over the flu, so I apologize if I cough. I'll try to mute myself.
I didn't hear a sound.
What?
Did I win?
I didn't hear a sound. Spencer won!
Holy.
Whoa! It's Spencer, ladies and gentlemen. Spencer, what are you picking for May?
May will be. Drum roll.
Mega
Starts with M. Oh, were we doing guesses?
Oh,
Like
we can.
A guessing
Yeah.
game? Okay, go ahead and guess. Starts with M.
Okay, I think.
Minecraft May.
Wow.
No way.
No, but that's a good idea. Not a bad one. I'm actually going to pocket that.
Oh, I was going back to the Halo theme, but it didn't work. So I think we're going to do Metroid May for Metroid Zero Mission.
No. Okay, May will now be drum roll. Mini May. And the game will be Minish Cap. So,
Dude,
yeah.
you are kidding me.
Zelda.
I have to rethink a month now.
Too bad.
What the?
I
So games where you're like small.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was already going to do. It wasn't Minish Cap, but I was already going to do Miniature Month.
Mhm.
See,
it'll be this month will be on all things miniature. I have it already planned out. We have a really fun exercise to do during it, of which I will start asking for submissions from the community. But for now, we'll wait because it's still a ways off. But we will be doing Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, which is my favorite Zelda game, and make the theme based on size, specifically being very, very small. So
size matters.
we're gonna prove it.
I'm very excited. That's awesome, dude. I get to play Minish Cap on the Wii U. I hope that upsets you,
It does.
because that's where I have it. It's on the Wii
Don't you
U.
have it on the Switch? Don't you pay for that service?
No, I stopped paying for that. That's
Oh.
not. It wasn't worth it.
Smart man.
So-
Yeah.
It's $80.
I know. I have it on the Wii U though, the virtual console.
Very
Love that.
nice.
Hell yeah.
For
Awesome.
Mini
Well,
May, Spencer will be running the OnlyFans, showing us his most miniature body part and why it's the toe.
you thought we were going to say micro penis. Leave a comment in the comments asking a question about miniature mini month.
Alex, we got to save that for Mega Month for Spencer's giant wang.
His Mega Buster. That's
Yeah.
Get out the Mega.
Just wait for Wangtober, everybody.
I just wanted Spencer to paint his dick blue.
Yeah.
Mega Man month.
It's art. You can put that on YouTube.
It's art, dude. It's art. Yeah, it's self-expression. But so yes, leave a question for Mini May. But that's the last we will speak of it, because guys, it is Halo month.
Let's do it.
Hope you're ready. I should have bought a Mountain Dew. I got water though. Too bad.
Let's go, bros.
Yeah. We have questions.
Oh, leave us questions for Mini Month.
We have no
Yes.
questions for Halo Month, unfortunately.
Yeah, nobody cared. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Who?
Just before you forget, questions for Mini Month. Make them bite-sized. And
Yeah,
the
make 'em
Prime
short.
Question Minister.
Wait. How should-
Hi.
How many words should be in the mini month questions?
Max 10, minimum 1.
Well, minimum 1 is just a question in general.
Size? Question mark.
What's up?
I'm thinking max 5. 10 seems a little too lenient.
Just as long as
Spencer?
make your question as long as you want it to be.
No, Spencer, you're no fun.
As long as it's small.
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 Smole.
Small.
You've gotten swole. Now it's time to get smole. It's Mini Month. Turn it to Forrest Gump.
It's mini month.
Mini month.
Hi, guys. Oh, welcome you, Mini Month.
Before mini
This
month,
episode might be a little small.
I fought with Master Chief against the Covenant.
I fought the flood, and I said, Mama, why is there so much flood?
Why is it flooding so much, Mom?
We were learning about the Forerunners.
The Forerunners.
And that's when I saw the Arbiter, and the Arbiter was in the coat. This is terrible. I feel like I'm borderline racist right now. Let's move on.
it's Forrest is a white
Against
man.
the white man?
Yeah.
Impossible.
White racist.
All right, questions? Can we move on to questions? Halo questions?
Yeah, let's move on to the questions. I have them. Last time we asked you to ask Halo related questions. First one comes from Cynical Gaming Black Terry 309. Q, what is your favorite Halo 3 multiplayer map?
I don't know any
It's been a while.
Halo 3 specific maps. Can you play Lockdown in Halo 3?
I don't remember. I don't know the names of the Halo 3 maps because it's been so long since I've played Halo 3 multiplayer. I know there's the one with the windmills, though. You guys know the one I'm talking about? It's like a big industrial area and it has like windmill looking things. That's the map that I always think of when I think Halo 3. I wish I could tell you the name.
Mm-mm.
I don't.
In my head,
But
all
I
I'm
do
seeing is
know,
Zanzibar.
Let me look
Zan-
it up. See if I can.
Is that the big open one with like the moving like tank thing?
Yes.
There's one with like this giant map. Oh, and there's another one with a giant map. Halo 3's got great giant maps.
We have the Last Resort is the one you're talking about, I think, and then Valhalla,
mine's
Ooh, Valhalla.
Guardian,
I think that's the one.
Epitaph, which I seem to remember, Assembly,
Is it like that secluded one?
yeah, High Ground, which is an open one, Citadel, which is looks like secluded, and then Rat's Nest, which looks open.
I found mine, but I can't tell if it's from. I think it is from Halo 3. It's the Wind Power Station 7. It has the big looking wheel. I can't tell which game that's from though. I think it is.
Basically,
Zanzibar?
anyone with a
I think that is
warthog,
Zanzibar.
I'm down. Give me a
Oh, yeah,
warthog and I'm happy.
Warthogs are sick.
Yeah, I would go Last
tell you what,
Resort, which looks to
I'll
be.
take a. I'll be honest though. I'll take a ghost over a warthog any day.
Get out of here.
I love them. I love them. Going ghost.
Get out of here.
Dude, give me the mongoose, okay?
Dude, fuck the mongoose.
I'm gonna pull up on a mongoose. Yeah.
That's the damn. That's the damn ATV, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that thing. The
Little
mongoose
kids
sucks.
ATV.
I hate the
They're
mongoose.
so bad, but I love it.
I hate any mission in Halo 3 where they give you the damn mongoose, and I'm like, damn it, I can't do anything with this fucking.
There's nothing like putting two people on a mongoose.
It sucks.
Like, we're here to fuck around. We have one job.
Thank you, Terry.
All right, thanks, Terry. Turbo Zone. Q, you found yourself surrounded by the flood. Oh no. What non-Halo weapon from another non-shooter game are you using to escape? I'll use the Gunstar Heroes homing missile.
But wait, I said non-shooter.
I
Does
won't
that count?
use the Gunstar Heroes homing missile then.
I said, does that count as a shooter? Yeah.
Well, you're asking us to use a gun from a game that isn't a shooter that has guns in it.
I said weapon. I said weapon, right?
You know what? For irony's sake, I will use Mario's Flood.
There you go. Oh, that counts. That's not a shooter. I mean, you spray, but that's a sprayer. Third-person sprayer. The first third-person sprayer. Mario Sunshine.
Person in its kind.
Well, I guess the cape in Super Mario World is a weapon because you can bash people with it.
Spin, yeah.
But your question is specifically, what non-Halo weapon from another non-shooter game are you using to escape? So I'll use the cape to fly away.
To fly the hell out of there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a smart one. I should have worded it differently because I just said escape. I didn't say survive. Which I guess would also be a massacre, kill the flood, right?
Kill the flood.
I want to kill the flood though, so I'm gonna go with, and excuse me because I don't know the names because I'm not a weeb, but the weapon from Bloodborne that is a sword and also a hammer. You know what I'm talking about, Spencer?
Yes.
Yeah, that one because that's a
hammer.
I beat the game with that weapon.
Armored hammer.
Yeah, you put it in your laundry.
You'll beat the game with Army Hammer.
Armored hammer. Sprinkle him with armored hammer. Yeah, whatever the hammer that's also a sword. That's the one I choose because I want that thing's sick.
That weapon's fucking badass.
Okay, thanks, Turbo Zone.
Turbo.
Turbo. A little technical difficulty. I realized our faces were not recording on my version. So let's talk next. Ty Lord, from memory, I think he said, oh, I got it here. How long would it take to run around the Halo ring in Combat Evolved?
Well, it's like an inverted planet, right? So probably like, how long does it take to run around the world? I think that's the first thing we need to answer, right?
Infinite.
I'm gonna Google it. To run around the world. 2 to 3 years to run
Around the world.
around the world. It always comes back to Daft Punk, doesn't it?
And it's a little bit wider than that, so I'd say 3 to 4.
Is it wider than the Earth? Is the Halo ring?
I mean, it has to be because it's like around it, right?
Hmm. So
Well,
let's
if
say
you're Forrest Gump.
4 years. So yeah, I'm gonna say 4. It takes you 4 years to run around the Halo ring.
Because you get really tired.
Forrest Gump could probably do it in 3.
Yes.
Well, we're not all Forrest Gump, Teddy.
Yeah.
We can't all be Forrest Gump.
We can't be perfection.
Okay, BioPhoenix reviews the question Prime Minister. I salute you. Q1. What location in Halo 1 would you want to build a house on and live in? At.
um,
The
Valhalla.
greenest one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the missions. Definitely not the snow one, where we had to fly. Hate that area. Is there a good spot in Halo 1 to build a house and build a life?
The space station.
You don't live in the space station?
Yeah.
It gets attacked. Like
Oh, well.
immediately.
Everything gets attacked in Halo.
Like immediately. Oh, that's true. You know what? That is true.
At least the ship has arsenal.
My answer is anywhere far away from those fucking hunters. Fuck those guys.
Okay.
The silent
Ew,
cartographer takes place like on an island, like an island paradise.
go.
That'd be cool.
Ooh.
Okay.
Got a little bit of Dead or
He has a
Alive
second question
volleyball.
for us. I think this one maybe will be a Spencer favorite. Q, do you think if Halo came out on the Dreamcast, it would have helped keep it alive longer?
What? That question doesn't make any sense.
It does. They used
If Halo came out on the Dreamcast, would it have
they used
helped keep the
Windows.
Dreamcast alive?
Yeah, like Microsoft was an integral part of developing the Dreamcast to a point to where when they developed the Xbox, they almost had Dreamcast backwards compatibility with the Xbox.
But how would? Oh, I see. The question is worded incorrectly.
Okay.
The question is worded: do you think if Halo came out on the Dreamcast, it would have helped Halo stay alive longer?
No, the Dreamcast.
But the question is will it keep the Dreamcast alive longer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
Yes.
I mean, because Halo was in development for a while before that, right? Because they were like Bungie was developing it for like PCs. I think the Mac maybe or something like for Apple, but it was in development before Xbox even came out.
I don't think so, though. I don't think this would have helped Dreamcast. The controller is not great for it, and the market for the Dreamcast is. I mean, I guess the argument would be, would that have changed the market for the Dreamcast? But I suspect that just with the install base of what the Dreamcast was, it was highly Japanese. And
I think the controller is the biggest no factor, but it is important to note that before Halo came to Xbox, Xbox was not a brand, really. It was kind of like they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And then Halo came out on the Xbox, and immediately it was like the hot ticket item.
mm-hmm.
So maybe,
but I mean, also the Xbox was heavily marketed towards American gamers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like a lot of it worked hand in hand with each other.
Xbox is notoriously
so was
bad
Shenmue.
Xbox is notoriously bad at marketing towards the Japanese.
Yeah.
Shenmue is notoriously an American favorite.
Shenmue 2. Shenmue 2 in North America was an Xbox only game. We didn't get it on Dreamcast over here.
There you go.
There you go. My answer, no. The Dreamcast still would have died. Okay. Me, majority.
Majority.
Q, how would you compare the state of Halo now back to when it was its original trilogy?
That's a good question.
That's how I would just laugh at it. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, I've had fun with Infinite, the newest game. Like I still go on and play it sometimes. Like it's still it's a fine game. It's a fine piece of software. But unless what's the 343, right? That's the company. Unless they're able to actually like innovate on Halo and not just copy and paste, it's never going to reach the heights that it was in the original trilogy, because Halo was fucking everywhere, man. I remember like people who didn't even know what video games were knew that Halo 3 was coming out. It was that big a deal. So it's not comparable.
I could be sort of wrong on this, but I remember when Halo 1 through 3 were big. At least in my circle, nobody cared about the story. Like, the story was completely irrelevant. I mean, it was kind of like, oh, you get to play as the other guy? Well, that's kind of cool. Yeah. And then I remember somewhere around 4 was when I first heard people being like, let's really care about Cortana. And let's really, like, look at all these cool different creatures that are in this game now, and all these cool, like, people. And back then, it wasn't about the story. At least, again, to me and my friends, we were just love playing multiplayer shooters. Somehow, I think maybe with Bungie's exit or something, they really wanted you to care about the story. And I just never really followed that. So that's kind of the way I see it. Obviously, it was better back in the day, clearly.
You know what I think that was? I think that was Bungie, because Bungie did the original trilogy, and then they did like ODST and Reach.
Yeah.
And those did have story. Like ODST had the ODST team, and then Reach had like Noble Six and stuff. And those did have stories that people like did kind of latch onto a little bit. And I think that's where 343 came from. I think they were like, okay, well they liked Reach and it's cast of like different Spartans. So let's do stories. But like the problem is that you're putting Master Chief into a story.
Right.
You know,
you're putting a guy who's meant to be quiet and like only wants to kill things.
Yeah,
that's what the player wants to do.
If you ever, because like you can look, like there's like developer commentary for the first 3 Halo games, and like Halo 2 and stuff, if you look back at like the story and stuff, they'll completely just be like, oh yeah, this was changed, like we just completely changed the story and what was happening in this area. Bungie didn't really care that much about the story.
The story in the original trilogy was like a fun little thing to go through. That was an excuse for you to play a campaign together on the couch. And even just going through legendary mode or putting those dumb skulls on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, some of it was like kind of like it started. I think once you get into 3, it starts to get a little more emotional with like Cortana being corrupted or something. But all in all, it was just a fun excuse to shoot aliens in space.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that. And besides which, even if you weren't, the co-op was not your bag, playing online was just amazing. Halo back in the day was legendary. It was like state of the art. As time has gone on, it's really not that novel anymore. You know, online shooter games are a dime a dozen. And what have they done with the formula to really change it? Add jetpacks? That's what they did in, I think it was Reach. And it's like, okay, like, ironically enough, a bit of a reach. You know, like that's not really like changing the Halo concept that much for me. So I've never gotten back into Halo after the original trilogy. I've never cared. It's just impact-wise, it's just not the same as it was back then. Does it mean you can't enjoy it the same way now? You probably can. Similarly enough anyway, but no, back then it was chef's kiss.
Well, it's I find it ironic because it was so, when you played Halo 2, like there was no game like it. Like it was, That was Halo 2, and that was different than the other first-person shooters that existed. For whatever reason, and this might be 343 Studios or Microsoft urging them, or I don't really know, but they homogenized Halo to now have aim down sights, to now have sprinting where you lower your gun.
It's Call of Duty. Yeah, it's Call of
Right.
Duty.
I booted it up just so I could have a talking point in what we're talking about this month. I booted up Halo Infinite just to give it a couple runs. I'm like, why does this game feel like Call of Duty now? Like, I don't want to play Call of Duty. I want to play freaking Halo. Like, they used to be so different, and that could have been their selling point, is we still have Halo. They don't really have Halo anymore. They just have the world, but again, who gives a shit about the world? I want to shoot shit in Halo's engine.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that I'm at a point to where I've been playing through all the Halo games, and I just beat Reach, so I'm about to cross over from Reach into 4. But the thing is that even up to Reach, like the core combat and gameplay of those games are still really good. Like they still feel really fantastic, and like that's the excuse to play the campaigns in the earlier Halos, because the gameplay is just fucking good, you know. And then it seems like 343 wanted to expand the world, but they didn't do anything with the gameplay. So like the gameplay just doesn't even feel as good. It's like when your gameplay doesn't feel as good as Halo 1 or 2, and you're like Halo 5, like come on, guys, you know, like something's wrong. Something's really wrong. So,
I agree.
yeah, not comparable.
It's been settled.
Bam,
adjourned.
capitulated.
Capitulate. Always capitulated. All right, last question comes from Forbidden Dream 97. Q. If Halo mashed up, CG mashup, with a cartoon and or anime, which one would be better and why? Inquiring minds want to know.
It already has. I used to have Halo Legends on DVD, which was like a what the hell they call them? They did a few of these back in the 2000s, like compilation things. Matrix had one with the Animatrix, where they like had different studios tell smaller stories with the world. So like they had like I think 2 of the stories were from anime studios. I can't tell you which ones, but and they actually had like anime stories with the Halo Spartans and stuff. So that's what I think of immediately is the Halo Legends stuff, because they already kind of did it.
Mashed up with a cartoon and or anime. So I'm not sure I understand. Is the question is if you turned Halo into an anime or a cartoon, which would be better? Or is it like with a specific anime or cartoon?
I think
like
they mean
crossover?
I think they mean specific.
Okay.
Is there a specific anime or cartoon?
Tiny Toons.
Yeah.
Buster Douglas goes
that was a boxer. Buster Douglas is a boxer. This is the damn Wendy's thing all over.
This is the Late Show, okay? You know, give me some slack.
I do like the idea of Buster Douglas being in the Tiny Toons, though.
Fighting Master Chief.
That's the crossover we didn't know we needed.
But I was just thinking of a regular episode of Tiny Toons, but instead of Buster Bunny, it's grown man Buster Douglas.
Buster Bust Loose takes on a whole new meaning.
Buster Douglas. He punches all the cartoon characters.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue. My Hero Academia. I don't know.
If you're on anime, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what's the popular. Is there a sci-fi one? I guess that's Sword Art or something. Is that one? Sword Art Online. I've heard that name before.
The video game.
Sure.
I think it's like one of those enter the video game.
Oh my god, is it? I hope I've never seen it, but I hope they say if you die in the game, you die in real life.
I guarantee you they say that.
Yeah.
Guarantee, yeah.
Yes.
Are you saying
Lifetime
that if we
guarantee.
die in the game, we die in real life?
I'm saying if you die in a game, you die in real life.
Live.
Yeah,
Have you guys ever watched the movie Gamer?
No.
It's a movie. It's by the guys that did Crank. But it's in the future, and it's like prisoners play as people control prisoners in like a war game. So like real people shooting real people, but like players are like controlling them. And the main character is like a prisoner that like escapes and stuff, and like the kid that's like controlling him helps him. Um, it's a fine movie, but the thing that really gets me is that the villain in the end is played by Michael C. Hall from Dexter. That's the only movie I've ever seen him in outside of Dexter. Outside of the show Dexter.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird dance sequence, and I'm like, why is he in this? So that's what so that's what I thought of. That's kind of like, I mean, the game was real life, but the same thing. If you die in the game, you die in real life. That has like my favorite escape sequence where he's trying to escape the area where they're doing like the war game. So he gets really drunk. He's like he has the kid that like controls him. He's like, hey, trust me. And he gets really drunk before the battle, and the kid's like, what are you doing? And he goes into the battle super drunk, and he like rolls down this hill and stuff. And the kid's like, "You're gonna get yourself killed." And he rolls down to like this like car because there's like there's like a battlefield where there's like nothing, and he vomits the alcohol into the gas tank of the car, and then starts the car and like escapes the arena. Like, this movie's awesome.
That's creative.
Yeah. Stupid.
That'll do it for us entering the game as far as cues for this episode. So
Thanks
leave
for
us a
joining us.
question for next month, a small one, a miniature one, just to go out on. Alex is going to give you his best salutations. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for joining us for the Halo Game Talk, everybody. That was the show. Spencer. I like to imagine Spencer never walks. He just rolls around in that chair all day.
Halo doesn't run around. Halo. Spencer doesn't run around the Halo ring.
I
He
assume
rolls.
there's a flight of stairs in his house, which raises more questions on how he gets around in that chair. Tell you, I think a piece just fell off your wall. What the hell is that?
This is my problem.
Are you just having a bad time?
I just sit and my Dratini wall art falls.
It's not even Dratini anymore. It's just Dra.
Yes, it's not even Dra, it's D. It's aberration. I can't have nice things. This is why.
Well, that was the questions for Game Talk. Leave a question for many month. We're going to move on to the games for Game Talk. The games for Game Talk for this month were Halo themed. You need to either play like a game in the Halo franchise or a game related to Halo in some way, shape, or form. We'll see how we all did. I'm going to go to Spencer because I think Spencer played a Halo game. Am I right?
That's true.
So Spencer's going to go first today. Yay.
I played
Clap for Spencer. Clap for Spencer, everybody. Hold on.
the game that I played.
I was gonna play a sound effect, but I'll get in trouble for that.
Okay. The game that I played was Halo Wars 2. All right.
Yay.
There you go. So
I
I
react.
I'd never played Halo Wars 1. I skipped straight to 2. Give me the best.
What? How will you know what's happening?
I don't know. I'll figure it out. It was interesting because I remember when Halo Wars came out, the world was a different place, and like back then, I feel like it was representative of video game elitism. At the time, consoles and PC were way further apart, not just in terms of clientele, but in terms of specs, in terms of a lot of things. And it was like unheard of that you would have an RTS on console. It was almost like a joke. And I remember this game specifically coming out, they're like, of all of the RTSs that you would do a console like RTS for, you would seriously put Halo Wars on console. Like, this was their opportunity to go on PC. And they're like, nope, we're doing Xbox. That's our thing, and we're sticking to it. And everyone's just like, you crazy motherfuckers. So Bungie did it. They released a console RTS, and I believe it actually did okay. Like, it was generally well received, which I was really surprised about. And I don't know if you can play them on PC now. I assume you can, and you could probably use mouse and keyboard. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play Halo Wars 2 in the way that it was probably originally designed and play it as a console experience. And so I did. I booted this up on my Xbox Series S. And here's my experience playing an RTS with a controller, which seems to be blasphemy. I played Age of Empires. I was big into not World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3. So I do have a history with RTSs, and I was just completely fascinated with how do you translate this to a controller? And it's okay. It was interesting. The game graphically, as the cutscenes will show you, the game looks incredible. Like with the cutscenes that they build, they're like Halo brand quality. They're very, very good. They're up there with like Blizzard quality. You can tell there's a budget for it. It was really impressive. Once you get out of a cutscene and are into the actual game, the game has an aesthetic that looks okay from a distance. If you zoom in, it looks really bad. Like I'm saying, like N64.
Free to play almost. Like,
Yes.
That's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
Yes. Close up, this is not good. This game is a Monet, as they say. Look at it from a distance. Do not look at it too close because your world will be shattered, I assure you. Gameplay wise, they did a decent job of making it playable on a controller. Obviously, things on it are quite dumbed down, I would say, from your traditional PC RTS. They have a quick button. If you double tap the right bumper, you'll select all of your units. So that I can certainly appreciate. They do have an expander, so you can hold the select button and pull it out, so you can select units in a group. It's worth noting, too, that units are in groups. They're not really one unit. If you have like a unit of Marines, it's like, I think it was like 3 or 4 or something. The vehicles were single unit, but I liked the level progression. You would take your units from your base and try to conquer the map, which is pretty standard for RTSs, but it let you hit a lot of outposts along the way. So you could do like miniature goals being met. And it helped you expand your troops faster. You could set up bases. Seemed a little rudimentary, but I played a couple missions, so I don't want to say that I got to the end. I have beaten some bosses, which I'll talk about in a second. The base creation seemed very minimal and simplistic. I'm assuming they expand on it later, but as it was serviceable. Let's talk about the bosses a little bit. Bullet sponges. They start out with heavy armor that you have to chink down, and then you can start attacking them in their health. A lot of just waves and waves of me supplying enemies because these bosses could just decimate my units with like one hit. So, not the most thrilling boss fights, but they were serviceable and kind of what you would expect from Halo the RTS. As a whole package, I have to say I was impressed that they were able to translate it so well into console RTS, but I don't think I would be persuaded to continue as opposed to mouse and keyboard. But a good try. Interesting.
Can you play this on PC? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't check but
Yeah,
I'm sure.
you can play both of them now. They both had PC releases.
Okay. So you can play with the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I mean,
Okay. So you just
Well,
wanted to suffer.
Well, yeah, I wanted to
Well-
see because I never played it back in the day. I wanted to see what it was like to play it the way they intended.
the way God intended.
The way God, yeah.
I've played the original Halo Wars back in 2009 or whatever the hell it came out.
Mhm.
And I remember liking it, but I'm not that big in RTS games anyway. But that one was fine. I do have this one, but I haven't played it. Is this 343 or is it a different studio?
343.
They did it. That's scary. That explains the bullet sponge enemies. Because if you ever play Halo 4 or 5, ooh boy, they love their bullet sponge enemies. Ooh, that's concerning. Does this like Halo lore time? Does it have anything that, like, where does it fall? Does it have anything to do with Halo lore? Is it like
Yeah.
you know, like you like are you playing as Master Chief? Or are you playing as just like
You do not
Spartan
play.
McSpartan pants number 5 or something?
You don't play as one Spartan. You play as like a general, and
Oh, okay.
you don't control. At least I didn't control Master Chief at any point. It takes place. Your villains are the like elite monster-looking guys.
Okay.
They look
So
like
is it
big hairy guys.
the big gorilla looking dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were the Covenant in it as well, but the big baddies were the big elite furry gorilla guys.
That could be literally any time because 343 also fucked up because okay, Halo 3 was like the Covenant and the humans like make peace and they stop the I forgot his name, the big guy, then they stop the other guy from launching the thing. And then Halo 4 was like, yeah, but now there's like cultist Covenant, so we're just fighting the Covenant again. So I can't tell you when that when it happens.
Yeah.
It's literally an entire franchise now because they were like, oh, any development they had in Halo 3, it's all gone now.
Yeah.
Alex can attest to this, but one of my favorite RTS games is a console RTS, Herzog Zwei. In fact, basically every RTS I've played, I've not played for the story. I've just played for like fun, quick battles. Warcraft 3, played for the battles. We played Air Mech together.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? Air Mech?
Yeah, Air Mech Arena.
And I like RTS games, like from a strategy standpoint, and kind of just the engagement. Like it kind of demands your full focus and attention. But would you say that like you really feel like this embodies the RTS experience, like wholeheartedly, or not at all, somewhere in between? Where do you stand?
I would say somewhere in between. One of the big things with PC RTSs, which makes them so prolific, is macros. The ability to use a keyboard to quick step through the base making process.
Oh, yeah.
Which Halo had none of that. I mean, I'm sure it had buttons that you could get to quickly, but nothing will beat a keyboard in terms of precision. It's not even close. I'm just trying to think if you could even have a competitive version of this game, what it would even look like, and it just doesn't even like this compared to StarCraft 2. It would be a joke. Like it wouldn't even be. They're not even in the same arena as far as complexity and how fast you'd have to be. No, I just couldn't see this going beyond anything more than a novelty, really, of just it's Halo, but it's an RTS.
I think that's smart to do it that way because of the Halo fan base anyway.
Right.
Because most of it probably is base Xbox players, so I think it is smart to handle it that way. To me, it sounds like a way like Nintendo or somebody would probably handle it too,
Right.
Like make a
Pikmin
console experience. Yeah, Pikmin. Well, I guess that kind of counts, yeah. So, because I'm trying to think of what other RTS games were even on 360. I think Command and Conquer did some stuff, right? They had some games on Xbox or something. I don't know, but Yeah, there really wasn't much on 360, so it's like you kind of get that you get some more Halo, and you get like some RTS gameplay, even though if it is like baby's first RTS, it's still you still get to scratch that itch in some way.
Yeah.
So even though I know you're talking about 2, which was Xbox One, but still, even
Same
on
thing.
Xbox One, I doubt there was a lot. So.
Yeah, honestly, the game just made me want to play Halo more. Because I was like watching my characters shoot the little grunts. And I just like, it'd be way more fun to just be playing Halo 2, shooting the grunts. I just get a lot more out of it.
Dude, I've had a blast, which is I'm not talking about a Halo game today, but I had a blast playing the Master Chief Collection. And that's why I even chose this month. So I'm like, damn, that's fun. Yeah, so yeah, I can imagine watching the characters do things and being like, man, I wish I was just doing that.
Yeah. It'd be cool.
Halo's cursed in that way.
What do you mean?
Like what other Halo like spin-off would be even comparable to the mainline games? Warthog Simulator?
I mean, this is really the only spin-off. I mean, not counting like ODST or Reach, but even those are still the core gameplay, just within like, you play as different characters and settings. But in terms of spin-off, I think Wars is it, right? No. I think they had Spartan Assault, which was like a downloadable twin stick game, and it was not good. They quickly scrubbed that from existence. They were like, nope, didn't happen.
You know what would be interesting would be like a more full scale war game that they make where you could literally zip between a first person shooter and an RTS. Like get into the game as one of your characters, your Spartans.
I think in terms of like spin-offs, I think Gears did really well with tactics.
Mm-hmm.
They basically made XCOM, which sounds like I'm putting it down, but I really like XCOM.
Right, XCOM's fucking badass. Like I'm totally down.
So
with that.
all they did was took XCOM and just put it in like you play as like a whole new set of Gears, and it's like a prequel game, and like the story is kind of interesting, but it's also Gears, so who cares? So, but like still, it's like you're in the world of Gears, but it's XCOM. So like it's cool. So something like that might work for Halo as well, just because XCOM's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can play XCOM with a controller easily. So
Right, because it's not live action.
yeah,
It's more menus and turn based, so a controller is just as feasible as a mouse and keyboard.
There you go. Project XCOM Zone.
Halo.
I'd be pissed if we get a Halo XCOM before another XCOM.
That's weird. The thing about XCOM is so strange is that like XCOM 2 came out, it was awesome.
It's
And
like
then
2016, right? Something like that. 2015, 16, somewhere around there.
yeah.
It's been a minute.
And they've made so many more XCOM-ish games since it came out. Like we have Mario and Rabbids. We have Gears Tactics. We have that like Midnight Sun game where it's like
the Marvel thing,
like X-Men. Yeah, Marvel.
Yeah,
It's so weird that there's like now just like kind of like Dark Souls created like the Souls like category. Quietly, there's like an XCOM like category that nobody speaks about, but everyone kind of knows.
none of them are as good.
Right, none of them.
Mario Rabbids is fun, but it's not as
No, yeah, it's not anywhere.
So what do you call
near.
that? A com like?
Com X like.
Yeah, Twitter like.
X Life.
Anyway, that's Halo Wars 2. Interesting.
Do you think there'd be a Halo Wars 3?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
I can. You know what? They sort of did that recently. Not 3 for 3, but I want to say, I don't know if they developed it, but I want to say Mojang did with Minecraft. They had that Minecraft Legends that came out like last year.
Yeah.
And that's a Minecraft RTS, but you could play it on PC or console. And that was confusing to me why they did that.
More money.
I guess. I mean, the popularity of Minecraft, why not? But still, it's like I tried playing it on Xbox, and I was like, I can't do this. No, no thanks. I do RTS on there, so wouldn't have any fun.
Gotcha.
Spencer, if you're done, pass a sticky grenade.
I pass
to
it.
whoever you want to pass it to.
I pass it over to Teddy. What? Hell yeah!
Hit it with the stick.
Yeah, you have to run like the grunts do, you know, like they're like, ah, and they get like a grenade stuck to them. They like flail their arms around.
Start speaking gibberish.
Yeah. Ah! Oh shit! I just knocked everything off my shelf over here. Oh my god! I'm calling it a hurricane. Teddy, you can go ahead.
Live shelf destruction.
Yeah.
You've heard of self-destruct. This is shelf-destruct.
Sounds like a bad. That sounds like a bad gaming internet show. Welcome back to Shelf Destruct.
Oh no, we have to make that.
Today we're
now.
gonna blow up games.
Yeah, we have to do it before somebody else steals our idea.
Yeah.
Starting with Carmageddon. This one's gonna blow to smithereens. Okay. Everybody knows Halo for the Xbox 360 was a time and a place. It was a great co-op campaign, and it was also fun to play versus matches online. For today, I played a game that is reminiscent of that couch co-op Xbox 360 experience, Resident Evil 5. The first least Resident Evil experience in the series. Although you could maybe argue that for 4. But Resident Evil 5, make no mistake, is also no Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 5 is set in Africa, and you are Chris Redfield. And the story is mash it up. Basically, there's a terrorist organization working its magic in this fictional place in Africa, Kijuju, I think, from what I read on the Wikipedia. I could be totally botching that. Forgive me, internet, or don't. And also at the same time, there's like your sister's missing, Jill Valentine, and so you're kind of looking for her. And
Your partner.
you're also working with the organization there as a counterterrorism organization, and your main partner is Sheva. Now, if you play this game with 2 people, one person will control Sheva, and then you will play Chris. And this feels more like an action arcade kind of game rather than operate as like a Resident Evil adventure, which, I mean, it is. It's a story. The game is broken up into chapters and missions, and you're scored on each mission at the end. It was ironic. We were talking about scores earlier. And you could get like rankings, you know, F through S. And it's really, I don't know how to say this. Like, I think it's a good game. It's just not a good Resident Evil game. In fact, it's barely a Resident Evil game. I feel like more of the time is spent just running and gunning. The control scheme feels a bit different. Even I know you have customization options, but you know, with Resident Evil 4, you would like stop, aim, and you still do that, but you use like different sticks to do it. Because you know, Resident Evil 4 was programmed for like the GameCube controller originally. Now you're working with a dual stick thing. You have like an inventory panel that you pull up live, so you can't go to your menu, like to pause the game and then switch weapons. You have to open the menu and then switch items. Also, the D-pad will help you switch weapons. It just feels like more fast, action-packed, and less horror. It's still disgusting. The concept in 4 was about Las Plagas and the Ganados. And Las Plagas was a slow infection. That's why Leon was able to counter Las Plagas, you know, after being infected, you know, after a long period of time had passed, and even for Ashley as well. The concept in this one, I think it's called the progenitor. They mentioned that name, but it might also be called something else. Happens instantaneously. So one of the first cutscenes you see in the game is a tribal fellow being infected with this virus, and he instantly turns there's all these like disgusting abominations. Like I'm thinking of like these worms that like come out of people's skin and then start like consuming them, or these like bat looking creatures that will come out of people's throats and then start flying off. Similar concepts to 4. I just don't think anything is as scary or remarkable as in 4. Disclaimer, I am at chapter 6.1. There are a total of 6 chapters and approximately 16 or 17 missions, so I've still got a few to go until, spoiler alert, I fight Wesker in a volcano. But I have seen enough in this game to, say how I feel, and I feel that it's interesting, to say the least. And I did play the game single player with Sheva as an AI partner, and it's a little messy, but it's also functional. I have some pet peeves about it, but we can get into it in a second. Lads, Resident Evil 5. Not quite Halo co-op, but still an interesting co-op experience nonetheless, and to be played on your own.
Yeah, this game, I think this game is indicative of the time it came out, because this was the start of a slippery slope for the Resident Evil series, where it felt like Resident Evil 4 went on to inspire Gears of War, and then it felt like Gears of War went on to inspire Resident Evil 5. Kind of folded back in on itself in some way, because, yeah, it definitely became more of an action game with this title. It's weird. So, something that's kind of been iffy with me was the direction it was going at this time. I remember being a fan at this time, and I remember liking this game, but being like a little thrown off because, yeah, it's not nearly as good as what came before it. And it also started the side story, which will continue through like 2 more games with or even longer than that, honestly, with Chris and I forget what his organization's called, the BCCB something, the whatever, the bioterrorist thing, where he's, it's like a team that's tasked with going around the world and taking down bioterrorism. That's what Chris is in this game. And Chris, that's like his character for a while after this game, is just kind of like the leader of that team, and that's this thing. He's like a bioterrorist soldier, which is hilarious because he's like a beefcake in this game. And if you remember Resident Evil 1, he's like a scrawny guy in that game. So it's like, damn, Chris, you got swole.
Yeah, some interesting characterization. I actually felt like there were some kind of like blank palettes. Like, honestly, Resident Evil 4 has so much personality. Whereas this one, I mean, Chris just feels like, even though he's beefier Leon, he just kind of sounds the same and not like any iconic lines. Sheva is kind of adult. I mean, she's fine, I like her business outfit, but other than that, and she's dumb, man. Like, you give her multiple weapons, she will always default to the pistol. She had a pistol and the SMG. She would not use the SMG until the pistol runs out, and she's firing it single shot. So imagine an automatic machine gun that's supposed to go, and she's going. It's like, why are you doing this? There's a giant fucking cockroach like trying to slice my neck off. Like,
and like I said, while I do enjoy this game, it felt like at this time, to me, it felt like Capcom was just kind of lost with what they were even doing with this franchise, because not only is it more action focused, but this is really where they start to lean into a lot of melodrama with the games, where like before you cared about the characters, yes, but you more cared about their survival, right? Like, you more like, oh man, how is Jill or Leon or Claire going to make it out of this situation, In this game, it's more like it's like, oh, Wesker's back, and then Jill is mind controlled, and it's like, don't care.
I kind of started to see what you meant about like the over Wesker syndrome, because fight him once, twice, okay, it's fine. I mean, it reminds me of Krauser and 4. You can dodge attacks, cool, but Krauser, like, there's still like hitboxes. Wesker, it's just like he will always be a Matrix fight. It's like, what am I really doing here? Like, I'm just shooting air, and okay, I hit his glasses off his face, but nothing really happened. Granted, I have yet to get to the final section, but one thing I wouldn't say I regret, but that I found out playing this game, was that story happened with Resident Evil 0 that I missed out on that connects to this. So, if you've not played Resident Evil 5, but you're looking to, if you care about story, I would start with 0. But it's also not really necessary because it is such an action packed game. It's basically just the action. That's what I feel. Is I don't feel like I can't follow along with the story. A lot of like the basic concepts I get, and I don't know. I would have liked to see more like character. Like nothing compares to like that freaking alien creature in, like the sewers of Resident Evil 4. And you have to like throw down the ice tanks to freeze him mid
No,
space, and you can get to the elevator before he attacks you.
the regenerator you're talking about in 4?
Not even that, but regenerators are another like just like a good example. I think you're the right hand or the left hand of Salazar is what I'm talking about. But even so, nothing is nearly like the same. Like I just fought Ouroboros, and it's like, yeah, it was like conceptually cool fight, but it's not like scary. I don't like. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when this game came out, my friend was super psyched for it. And I had never played a Resident Evil at this point because I just didn't like horror games. And he was like, but it's co-op. And I said, oh, that's pretty neat. So we did end up playing, I think like through 3 levels, and I like had to leave or something. And then I came back to his house one day and he was just wrapping it up. And I think he was fighting Wesker. And it looked like a
And it was, yeah, I know the part you're talking about. It was like with the missile and shit.
Yeah.
Volcano.
Yeah.
Stupid. It's so stupid.
And I was like, "What is this? The same game?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it was weird because at the time, like I was a little sassy, and I was falling out of favor of video games were starting to not be my thing. It was during that era. And I'm just like shaking my head, like looking at this game. Like, oddly, this is probably at the time, this is my favorite Resident Evil game, just because I can play it co-op and shoot shit. Like, so that's cool. But now, I mean, even then I knew like this is not good. And then now looking at it, you like Alex was saying, it seems like they're very lost. Like very much like they took, because like 4 was such a departure, right? And then it's almost like they had like a meeting and they're like, we need to gather everything that we think 4 did right and put that into the next game. And they took like some ideas that you're like, yeah, I guess like more action. Oh, okay, interesting. What if it was like 100% action? And it's like, what? Like a lot of gunplay. Okay, what if it's only gunplay? And it's like you missed out on the part of the heart and like the coolness of, like 4 had a lot of subtlety to it. It had a lot of like interesting characters and story, and you were actually like nervous going into a new area because you didn't know what to expect. It's like there's so many things about it that just seem like they don't understand their own game, and that's 5 for me. And I don't even want to touch
4.
6. I haven't even. Jesus.
6. 4 did the impossible because the thing is that, okay, outside of maybe like Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, and Code Veronica, which take place basically right after the respective games the characters are from, they didn't really reuse characters. There's basically like the first game, Chris and Jill, second game, Leon, and then 3 was Jill again, but it was basically right after 1, so it was like still just kind of like coming off of that experience, and then 0 was Rebecca, and then Code Veronica was Claire, but it was also coming right off of 2. So it's kind of like they kind of were still in the same thing. 4 did the impossible. 4 took a character that survived a zombie apocalypse and put him in like a more daunting situation, right? So I feel like that was the issue they had. They were like, well, we have to stick with this cast of characters, but Leon's already survived all this. Chris has already survived all this shit. Well, we'll make him a leader of like a team. You know, and they basically forced their hand into creating an action game because the guy that survived a zombie apocalypse, what is he afraid of, right? So that's the issue with 5 and 6 to me, and that's why I thought it was smart with 7 moving forward because they essentially, even though 7 and 8 have the same character, they essentially reset who they're playing, like who you're playing as. So you're playing as like a new guy in 7 who hasn't done anything, you know. So that's able to like give you the horror experience back. Like, what is Chris afraid of, you know?
Yeah.
You've seen it.
I think the thing is too, like with 4, the pacing is perfect, and like the mercenary will come up at, or what do you call him? The merchant. The merchant will
Yeah.
come up exactly like, okay, I really needed the merchant right now, like at perfect timing. And this one is just if you die or at the end of the chapter, you always go to a section where you can just upgrade your weapons, you know, as much as you need. So it's really, it kind of takes like the feel of like you're actually there out of it. And you know, I think it loses charm by subtracting a lot of the adventure and RPG elements. Things like combining a yellow herb with a green herb in order to increase your health meter, not there. A merchant in order to increase, you know, to sell you things, go welcome stranger, you know, missing. You know, it's just the game has no personality at all aside from Matrix looking Wesker dude in a volcano. Spoiler alert, I guess. Brainwashed Jill. Uh, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what to say. There's like a sniveling cohort who literally sounds like a just stupid cartoon character. Just go, yeah, like that, I'm gonna fight you. I don't know. Alex doesn't even remember this guy.
I don't remember that.
Terrible.
I don't know.
Terrible characters. He was a major boss battle. And the thing about those major boss battles in the first half of the game, you don't even use your weapons. You use automatic weapons, automatic turrets. You fight an El Gigante on the back of a freaking you know,
Truck.
Warhog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid.
There's a cool swamp section with the boat, where you get to ride the weird, what do they call them? Like the big fans in the back of them. Those kind of boats. As stupid as this game is, somehow, in retrospect, it's still more grounded than anything that happens in Resident Evil 6. So I can still appreciate 5 in some way because I played Resident Evil 6 to completion.
Well, I'm gonna get there soon enough. I'm on track to have cleared the first 5 Resident Evil games. So next up 6, woohoo.
Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't hate 5. I really don't. It's
don't
it's
either.
a fun game.
I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's just the wrong direction for the franchise.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. But in terms of like the game itself, like it's clearly it's not a poorly made game, you know? Like I can't knock it for being an action game. I get it. I get why they would make those changes, but it's just not right for the series.
Well, question: do you think they're going to remake it? And if so, how do you think they should do it?
I don't think they should. Do I think they're going to? That's tough. Maybe. I honestly didn't think they were going to do 4, and then they did it, and it worked, which I was scared of. I think they could do 5 and try to make it more horror focused. I feel like that's what they did with the 4 remake. Was the 4 remake? I felt like it amped up the horror a little bit. You know, it still felt like 4, but I think it was a little less goofy than the original 4 in some ways. So I feel like that's what they would need to do with the 5 remake, but they would just have to lower the goofiness level down a lot, considerably.
Did you guys play...
almost a brand new game, but just set in Africa?
Did you guys ever play World War Z?
No.
Bizarre that they would make a game based off of a Brad Pitt franchise, but it's actually really good. And it's like a zombie survival, almost like Left 4 Dead, but third person experience. And they do a good job of creating, like, at this point you need to protect this target. So let's have zombies flood in and you have to defend. At this point you need to make it to this position. So it's like sprinting this way. At this point you need to defend this house. So board up the windows and protect. It's really, really good. If you know, limited by that concept, but in as a multiplayer zombie game, it was, you know, I could see a Resident Evil 5 remake trying to transition to something like that, where it's more. And it's been so long since I played, so correct me if I'm wrong or anything, but more objective based as opposed to just kill.
They've tried this concept again, not counting 6, with Revelations 2. But what they did there was that's a co-op game, but it's more in the way of like Alan Wake, where it's like episode like focused, where it's like you basically play as 2 sets of characters in each episode. You play as like the first chapter with 2 characters in the past, and then 2 characters in the future. But what made it interesting was that, and both of the campaigns going side by side, the main character is usually Claire or Barry Burton, and they're the ones that can actually deal damage for the most part. The other co-op characters aren't really there to support you in combat. They're more there for puzzle solving or like other elements. So like one of them has a flashlight, and while you don't, so their job is to kind of help you see and stuff like that. And then the other character she has like ability where she can see stuff through walls, so it's kind of like helpful. She'd be like, okay, it's like the second player could be like, well, there's 3 guys in this room, so you need to watch out, So like they kind of played with that concept later on, but did it in a way that felt more puzzly, I guess, more Resident Evil-ish, which I think worked. So that's something they could incorporate into a 5 remake if they did that.
Gotcha.
To me, I would say the only way I could see this functioning as a better game, if that's the point of remaking the game, is to completely drop the mission structure, add a typewriter, and purposeful segments where you can upgrade inventory. Because otherwise, I really think even just the idea of co-op in this game detracts from the horror elements. I don't think anything is naturally not scary. A lot of these things are. A giant freaking worm monster, stay the fuck away. Like, like give me the flamethrower or whatever. But you have to make the tension felt, and quite frankly, it just gives you too many layups or assists.
Mm-hmm.
That's an idea. I mean, they're not afraid to change stuff in the remakes. First mission, Chris and Shava go in. Shava gets eaten. Bam. It's just a Christmas.
Yeah.
You thought you had co-op. You did for 5 minutes.
For 5 seconds. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're smart. They could put co-op on the box, and then Shava just gets eaten in the first 5 minutes.
Be like a reverse Secret of Mana.
Hey, it'll be the next... It'll be the next Digimon Survive.
Shava survive. Not for long.
This game has co-op.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we already pissed off enough Digimon fans. That's my Halo game.
Very good Halo game. Can't wait for what was next? Mini May. I can't wait for Resident Evil 6 for Mini May.
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
He's a man on a mission.
The scores were really low.
Like,
I wish you did Resident Evil for Did you? No, you did Alan Wake. You do all horror games.
All my 24 games are like Alan Wake, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 3 remake. What's next? We'll find that. A mini horror game.
To be fair, which the listener has already hopefully seen the episode, but we started doing the Game Talk Live episodes. So you say that, but I don't know what you're doing for Game Talk Live yet, because we haven't done that yet. So
Game Talk 2?
I'm not calling it that. That seems... I'm calling it Game Talk Live.
Welcome everybody to Game Talk Live, a.k.a. Game Talk 2, the sequel to everybody's favorite Game Talk.
No. Anyway, I don't know what you did for the Game Talk Live 2 episode that has already happened by this point, because we're recording it before that. But I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, that won't be hard. But for all traditional Game Talk so far,
oh, okay. So
record.
Just traditional Game Talks. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. That was the episode.
All right, bye.
Okay. Is everyone gone? Is everyone gone? Now it's my turn.
This one is an off-air special.
I'm shy. Everyone had to leave the room. I keep doing it when anybody's listening. So in Halo, you play as Master Chief, who is a Spartan. Some would consider him like a space marine, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So I decided to go back to the original Space Marines and a game from 2023. This game, along with like a handful of other games, was up for grabs for my game of the year last year. I'm talking about Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun, a game in the Warhammer franchise. What is Warhammer? I hear you asking me. Well, Warhammer is a tabletop war game where a bunch of nerds collect little figurines and paint them, and they have all-out wars. I've actually been kind of interested in Warhammer recently. I don't know if I'm gonna get into that stuff in terms of the physical side of it, but in terms of the video games, I have been interested. I've also been playing another Warhammer game called Chaos Bane, which is basically Diablo 3. But today we're talking about Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun, which is probably my favorite game that I've played from the Warhammer franchise so far, and also almost made it to my Game of the Year awards pick. If Alan Wake 2 didn't exist, or Pikmin 4, this probably would have made it. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun is a first-person shooter within the Warhammer franchise, and it's basically like if a 90s company like id or 3D Realms made a Warhammer first-person shooter. So it's very similar to like Doom or Quake or Duke Nukem 3D, but within that Warhammer universe. So you play as a big old Space Marine in your big chunky armor. I actually like the way the game feels because when you know, they're like big dudes. So whenever your character actually moves around, you can actually feel like his stomps and like the vibration of the controller, which is kind of cool. And it is a classic first-person shooter setup. You and a team of Marines were sent down to a planet to investigate some chaos cult. Well, guess what? The ship crashed. All the other Marines died except for you. So it's the classic one-man army trope in these classic first-person shooter games where you are just trying to survive and kill all the enemies. There are 3 chapters which are set up kind of like episodes in a classic shooter, whereas in Doom, like between episodes, your weapons would reset. So that's kind of how this game works too. You play it through the missions in Chapter 1, and then when you get to Chapter 2, you're back to just your first gun. You do get some cool guns in this game. You start out with the Bolt Gun, which is what the game's named after, which is kind of like a little pistol machine gun hybrid thing. You get a shotgun, you get like a laser gun, you get a chain gun, and then you get different attachments for those guns, different types of ammo, and fun stuff to play with. This game is really cool aesthetically. I think it takes a low poly approach. It really tries to look like one of those older shooters. But it doesn't have the limitations of an older shooter though. So they're still able to make some really beautiful looking vistas, and like there's some areas where like I'm going through these castles and stuff and I can look up and they look really huge and like the scaling looks really cool. So they're able to kind of combine the cool aesthetic of an old shooter with a newer game. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the term, but this falls within the genre of boomer shooter, which is a recent genre where game devs basically make a first-person shooter in the style of the 90s shooters. Some other ones I've played recently that I've really enjoyed were Dusk and Ion Fury. It's been really fun because I these are the kind of FPS games that I really like, are these old school FPS games. So it's been really cool to see game developers take that older style of first person shooter and incorporate it into newer games. This is probably, like I said, my favorite Warhammer game that I've played so far. I have played a few other ones, including Chaos Bane and Space Marine, which I actually played back in the day on 360. And I'm interested in getting into some of the other Warhammer games. I've bought some and kind of fiddled around. Some of them are RTS games on console, Spencer. Cringe. But Bolt Gun just blew me away, and I really like this game. I think even if you have no interest in Warhammer, but you like a good first-person shooter, this game has a lot to offer. It's pretty fucking good.
Looks like have you heard of this game BPM, Bullets Per Minute?
Yeah, that's actually a game by Platonic Friends or whatever. They're publishing it. Yeah.
Similar like visual style. It kind of looks like there's another like 3D platformer they did. I think I gave you my
Demon Surf.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah, Demon Surf.
Yeah. Cool looking game. When I looked this up, the first thing that was coming up was the 40K and all the figures. I was like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah.
But is this
Sorry, go ahead.
like a campaign focused game?
Yeah, it's all campaign. You play through 3 chapters, and they're pretty meaty, honestly. Like each chapter, it took me about 3 hours to get through the first chapter. So, and that's with deaths though, because where this is an older shooter, it is difficult. Like there are areas where like you'll get to, because most of the levels you just kind of stomp your way through the different stages. Get keys, kill enemies, get through doors, and finish stages. But there's some areas where they lock you in, and you can't leave until you clear out all the enemies in the area, and those areas are very difficult. They're like almost like arena like, and I find myself dying on some of those parts because the enemies are not afraid to just gang up on you. So it's very much one of the classic shooters where if you're not moving at all times, you are dead.
Yeah, I suck at games like that, like the original Doom. I just get crushed. But I don't know. I do worry sometimes, like, sometimes it's a lot of my eyes, like, to take in. Did you feel that, like, when playing? Or were you able to manage it?
No,
Okay?
not this one. No, I thought it was good. And in fact, like I said, I think the game is just looks stunning for its like the visual style and stuff. But no, I never felt that overwhelmed. I think there is the classic shooter problem of sometimes where there is so many enemies. Sometimes I would be getting shot by something and I couldn't tell where it was coming from, and I have to kind of like figure that out. But other than that, like that's a problem with the genre in general. Sometimes it feels a little unfair, but no, and I thought it was done really well here.
It reminds me a lot of like the one that I played a lot was Hexen. That was one I was really big at. But what I'm finding so interesting looking at these graphics is, I think like a lot of the pieces are the same almost, of like low res, backgrounds but I think what makes it look so distinct is just the scale, like you were saying, is just like. Because like in a Hexen and all those like Doom and Quake and I'm thinking like Wolfenstein, they were all like enclosed and they were all just like tight corridors. So you could never see in the distance because they could never render that. But if you were like unchained that small, well, large, but hurdle, you get these huge vistas that from a distance the low poly doesn't really matter, and they just look like almost real and really beautiful, especially like when you contrast it with the enemies that are close that look like flat in 2D. It's really quite striking. It's interesting to look at.
It's a really cool. Like I said, they kept that aesthetic, but without any of the limitations, which I thought was interesting.
Well, what's interesting too is that the frame rate between the animations are different than the frame rate of the game.
Yeah,
which is jarring, but it's like its own little style where the characters move almost like, what is that? What, maybe like 10 FPS, maybe less.
Yeah, it's low.
But the game is like running at 60.
Yeah, the game feels smooth to play, but yeah, and like you have like a chainsaw sword as like a melee weapon you can use at any times, and like when you use that, it's like 2 frames. It's like you're charging it up, and then like it's like automatically in the enemy. Like it's like there's no animation between that,
Right.
But it's still very satisfying to use though, and I'm like, how did they do this? Like it's really cool. And, yeah, and like. I love any of the animations with your character too, because he also follows those rules, but you only it's first person, so you only really see your hands. But you're at any time while you're playing, as I put it on Xbox, when you push the Y button, you'll taunt. So you can like kill an enemy, and then he'll taunt, and like he'll stick his hand out and like point at him or something, and it'll be like, "You stand nothing against the Empire." Then he'll go back to like slaying enemies or something. I'm like, this game's fucking badass.
Yeah.
Is it only the bolt gun? Is that the one weapon you use?
No, you get 4. The bolt gun's the one you start with in each chapter. But then you get a shotgun, a laser gun, and then like a chain gun, and you can switch between them.
Okay.
And then they get enhancements themselves, so they kind of like act as guns you can kind of build upon. You can find secrets within the levels or different types of ammo. So, but they just sort of act as a basis.
Okay.
But the bolt gun's the one you keep, and that's the game's named after. I'm only just now learning about a lot of this Warhammer stuff. I know it's bigger in the UK, so please forgive me, UK listeners. We don't have game workshops stuff over here. It's really like I hardly see Warhammer stuff over here. So I'm just now learning about a lot of the lore and stuff, which is actually kind of interesting. Again, I don't think I would ever. I might buy a couple of the little figures to like paint and put on a shelf, but I would never buy a bunch of them because I don't know any Warhammer people who would actually play it. So
When I was in 8th grade, I had a friend who told me he was a big Warhammer guy. And remember that the internet wasn't really a thing yet.
yeah, so who's he playing it with?
Well, like I didn't know.
His mom.
I couldn't really. Yeah, probably because he was a single mom family.
W mom.
But he told me like I'm really into Warhammer. I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's like a futuristic. It's like orcs, but in the future, and it's like there's all these like monsters you can ride and do all this stuff." And to me, it sounded like the coolest fucking video game I've ever heard of. And then I finally went to his house and he showed me, and it was like a toy on a little map. And I just remember being so angry. Like my fingers are like, my hand is shaking. Like, you brought me all the way over here to look at this fucking toy. And I was outraged by it.
That's why the games have like interested me. Okay, by the way, there's like two Warhammer things. There's Warhammer and then there's Warhammer 40K. 40K is like the futuristic one, and then regular Warhammer is like looks like basically like a Lord of the Rings Tolkien-esque type thing. And that's the other game I've been playing. Chaos Bane is just Warhammer. It's more fantasy based. But yeah, that's the difference between them. But they're both very interesting.
Right.
And that's why I've been like interested in playing some of these games now, because like the world and characters and like aesthetic are really cool for the Warhammer stuff, and it feels like there's untapped potential for gaming here. I remember back on 360, the only Warhammer I ever heard of was when I don't know if you guys remember, but that first Space Marine game came out. It was not really a big deal, but it got publication. Like I remember seeing like a Game Informer cover had the Space Marine stuff, and I remember seeing the guy in the big bulky Space Marine suit being like, that looks sick, you know. And I played the game, but like other than that, I didn't know shit about Warhammer. I didn't, for all I knew, that was it, you know, that was just the game. But yeah, now it seems like there's been a lot more Warhammer stuff releasing here, and we get a lot of them on consoles and PC, and I'm like interested in diving into that.
Like I played the hell out of Vermintide. That
Okay.
was like a multiplayer, almost like Left 4 Dead meets Warhammer. It was
Okay.
fun. It was good. RPG elements added to it. It was nice. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever played anything that really was like, oh man, I got to get into Warhammer now. It's more just been like, I like it from a distance. It's
Yeah, well, that's sort of where I am now. Like, I'm gonna play some of the video games, and I might read about like the world, you know. But in terms of like actually buying the Games Workshop's like the little figurines and stuff, like if I ever did, I would probably just buy one that I liked the characters of, just to like put them on a shelf, you know, to be like, oh, here's my little Space Marine guys. You know, like
Yeah, dude, I get that. My Starlink ships are still just floating around on the shelf. Like, why are you here?
yeah, I have a Starlink ships on the shelf too. But, you know, it's like it's weird. It's weird that like Warhammer hasn't become a thing here, really, like a franchise in terms of like, you know, like we get video games, but in terms of like a movie or something or a show, you know, I feel like there's some untapped potential here for something. Yeah, I thought that would be a thing that would have happened by now. So
sure they
I don't
did
know.
too.
Maybe, I mean, they clearly aren't that protective because all these companies make video games based on it, but I was like, maybe Games Workshop are just protective of the IP. I don't know. But
We're more
Bolt
of a
gun,
Peace
though.
Hammer fan base out here.
yeah, Peace Hammer. Peace, homie. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun, like I said, almost made it to my game of the year last year. It was really hard to choose because I had so many games, including Pikmin 4, Diablo 4. But Alan Wake 2 took the cake, so I had to pick that. But this game was in the running, and it's a game that I have continued to play because it's super fucking good.
There you go. Glowing endorsement.
Yeah. Take that.
That flood.
Yeah. Oh, Halo month. Hope you guys are ready.
This is it. We started.
Still waiting for it.
We don't have a we should really decide when the live episodes are going to happen so we can announce that on the game talk or something, because we haven't done that. Because I was going to tell them keep an eye out for the live episode this month, but we don't know what day.
Yeah, it'll happen on a Saturday in April. Stay tuned. We'll post to the Discord about it where you can find out more, and also
There
on
you go.
Community
Yes.
channel page.
We'll be back to talk about more Halo games in the live episode.
Yeah, in case you really like this one, you're like, hey, I want more Halo game talk. Well, don't go anywhere. Subscribe. We got it coming to you.
Subscribe.
Because Game Talk 2 is around the corner.
Okay, we're gonna do an exercise we've never done before, and you can take a second to think about it. Pitch me a game combining all three of our games into one concept.
It's basically like all three of the I can't even remember.
Just one of the Warhammer
The
40K
hell is it?
RTSs. I'm sure they have zombies in them.
They do.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just thinking like Chris and Space Marine armor
No, it's got to be Dorothy.
fighting.
She combined all three of the
Who the
Wizard
hell's
of
a
Oz.
Oh, I was gonna. Was that from this episode? I was gonna ask who the hell's Dorothy, even from the Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy from Resident Evil.
Yeah, I was
You know?
like, who the fuck is? Hold on, I need to Google. I'm gonna Google Dorothy Resident Evil and see if there is a character in any of the stuff named Dorothy. Because now I'm curious. Oops, can't type while I'm speaking. Apparently, Dorothy Resident Evil. Dorothy Lester. Here we go.
Okay.
Who's Dorothy Lester? Oh, get out of here.
Which game do you? Don't tell us which game she's from. Read us the description, and then me and Spencer will guess.
Oh, you're not going to get it. Dorothy Lester was an American woman local to Raccoon City and a participant in the illegal human trial performed by doctors at her local hospital on behalf of Umbrella. Which game do you think Dorothy Lester is from?
Resident Evil 1.
No.
I'll go Code Veronica.
No. Dorothy Lester is from Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 for the PlayStation 2.
That was my second
Tyler
guess.
probably would have got that.
Yeah. I forgot there was like a set, like both of the Outbreak games, which I have one of them, but they're not really playable now because they're meant to be online games. Like you can play them by yourself, but it's not fun. But I forgot that the Outbreak games had like their own band of survivors. They had like names and stuff, names and characters. Because I don't give a shit. Fuck you, Dorothy Lester.
That's the best trivia we had all day.
Yeah, all day. Thank you. I'll take that
Thank you.
trophy. Best trivia of the day goes to me. Spencer's looking up. Spencer, what are you looking up?
Dorothy Lester.
Are you in Rule 34 looking up Dorothy Lester?
That's
No.
That's the Rule 34.
You son of a
face.
bitch!
I
What
know
are you
it.
doing over there?
I knew it.
No, I'm just trying to get like a cool Halo trailer on the screen.
Yeah. Okay, we
We're
believe
the
you.
emulation busters. and
We
Spencer
believe
even
you.
Busted.
Yeah, I just
You're,
submitted
you're,
your
you're trying to bust a nut over there to Dorothy Lester. That's what's happening.
guilty.
She's not on there, dude.
See, Rule 34 busters. That's a different channel.
She's not on there.
That's
Trust me.
after hours. Yeah.
You've looked?
I'm not gonna. You can start it though. You can submit the first Dorothy Lester hentai into Rule 34.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Nobody's untapped market. Whenever somebody looks up Dorothy Lester on Rule 34, you're the only person they're gonna find.
You're our only hope. Spencer.
Be proud. Be loud and be
Bat and
proud,
bag
Spencer.
lady.
Okay.
I like constantly. I like me and Teddy berating Spencer while he says nothing. It's kind of hilarious. While he sits there quietly.
I just try to make the show run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure all my tabs are
The only
open.
thing you're running is your blood hot because you're looking up Dorothy
Yeah,
Lester, Rule 34.
We also learned today Spencer doesn't run, he rolls.
He rolls.
That's true.
Ooh, can you roll out?
Yeah.
And that's how we end the episode. Is that you'll roll out of the room?
Well, you won't really be able to see it that well.
No, you get to actually do it.
Like when we end the episode?
Yeah, I don't want to end the episode till you're out of the room, in the chair.
In the chair. Oh, like roll within the chair? Out of the room?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it'll fit outside that way. I think we have to tilt it.
Don't disappoint me, Spencer.
I'd hate to do that.
Yeah, I know.
I'll get the popcorn.
On Halo Month
I
Game
got
Talk,
cash in
you're
this,
gonna
we're good.
you're gonna disappoint me like that?
Yeah.
It's my month.
It's my month, damn it! I said roll out of that door. It's my month, and you can do whatever I say.
Spencer, roll out of the room on the chair. I don't care if the door is big enough.
It's a friend you go over to their house, and it's like, well, it's my house, it's my rules.
Yeah.
Dude, shut up! You don't pay. Your parents bought this house. Your parents fucking are getting a divorce.
How about this? You can roll back and then roll back in.
Yeah, there you
Is that
go.
a fair compromise?
Well, I just told you I can't. I don't know if I can literally roll out. Because
Roll as far as you can.
I can do that. Yeah, I can do
Okay,
that.
okay, deal.
And you-
Deal.
And you
Mhm.
keep rolling.
Come on.
We got it. It's happening. Happening live. Enjoy this, folks. Button Mapper exclusive.
See ya. Is that as far as you can get? Oh! Can you make it? Can you? I still see leg. Oh,
So close to. Oh!
yeah!
Rolled out.
that was the celebratory air horn. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Teddy, what are you eating?
Spencer's toes.
That's forever on the episode. And he'll never know. He can't hear us, can he? Can he hear us? I don't think he can.
You can barely roll back in because you got no toes. I ate them. Oh, hey,
you
Spencer.
couldn't hear us, right?
No.
That's probably good. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. We just ended the episode.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.